Hello, welcome to my Yin and Meditate class. This is a live video, so I'm hoping that we can do this every Thursday. This technology is very new to me. So I'm actually away from my home right now. I'm at a house up in Silver Star, and this is Izzy, my pup. So she'll be wandering in and out. So let's get to our mat to start this class. I have a nice cup of tea with me, just a nice green tea, jasmine tea. And we'll start on our mat. I don't have all the traditional yoga props, so I've got a pillow, some books, a blanket, and we will begin by seated and just taking a moment to feel yourself grounding down to the mat. So take a moment to close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, you can just gaze softly at the floor. And let's bring our right hand to belly, left hand to our heart, the Anahata chakra. This being of peace, kindness, and compassion. And connecting with your breath. So feeling the in-breath and feeling the out-breath. If you find it hard to be seated with your legs crossed, you can just place your feet on the floor in front of you. I find this is actually quite helpful, especially if you're sitting up on a blanket. So whatever that is for you today, we're gonna root down through the sit bones, lengthening the spine. Feel as if you're being lifted through the tips of the ears. Crown of the head reaches for the beautiful blue sky. And here at Silver Star Ski Resort is beautiful sunny skies, blue skies outside. And again, taking that hand back to the heart and the belly. And taking in this moment to bring in your sankalpa, or your intention. So taking this time to look inwards. What is the heart speaking to you, whispering? And bringing this in as your intention, something you're honoring your class for today. And we silently say this to ourselves 3 times. Taking right hand top over the left to seal in this intention. And maybe this is just as simple as I'm practicing self-care, or I'm practicing breathing and relaxing. 3 more breaths here. Deep inhale, receive that in-breath. Long, relaxed exhale. Releasing the hands down. Let's draw the right ear down towards the right shoulder. And then turning that chin towards your right knee or towards your chest. Feeling this beautiful stretch, so graceful bow. We're feeling a nice stretch in through the neck here. And if you wish, you can take that left hand down to the floor, which brings more of a feeling of stretch here. So in Yin, remembering that we hold poses anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. We come to relative stillness. We hold this pose, and connect with our breath. And drop the chin down towards the heart. Both hands come to rest on top of the knees again. And let's take the other foot in front of the other. If you have one foot, you always tend to put in front of the other, more like a habit. And now let's drop the left ear to the left shoulder. Again, drawing this chin down towards the left knee, looking towards that left knee. Graceful bow. You can take that right hand down to the floor, fingertips come down to the floor. And again, dropping that chin towards the heart. And slowly bringing your gaze up towards me here at the front of the room on your video screen there. So we're going to come back down onto our backs. I'm taking my pillow to place behind my head. I'm also going to bring over some books that I brought to use as a block. But first, we're going to come down onto our back, so slowly lowering yourself down. And let's bring our knees into our chest. Begin to widen the toes, and then scrunch the toes as if you're picking something off the floor with your toes. And then widen the toes again. Scrunch the toes. Make a few ankle rolls here one way, and then the other way. Maybe individual circles. I'm going to draw our knees wide here. Make a few hip circles. And then the other direction. So as you may know, with yin poses, these are all seated poses. We're working into the deep tissue, getting into the fascia, and also getting into a compression of the joints. So compression of the joints is very healthy for the joint to be healthy and have more mobility. It also helps build strength in our bones. Good. Place the feet down on the ground. Lift up, just replacing the lower sacrum down. We are resting here in constructive rest pose. So allow the palms to face up towards the sky. And then just let the feet rock from one side to the other, coming into windshield wipers. Good. And we're going to take our books and place them underneath the sacrum. So if you have a block, you're going to place that block on the lowest edge underneath the sacrum. So bringing these blocks underneath my sacrum, finding that nice comfortable spot. So coming into a supported bridge pose. So when I'm in supported bridge pose, I find that I don't really need this pillow under my neck. It's quite flat, so it should be okay. And if you don't have any, if you need that pillow under your head, that's fine. But it actually is a little bit healthier, better for the neck in general, the placement, if you remove the pillow. From here, we're going to inhale our arms up and exhale, palms come down. So because we're dealing with sometimes some shoulder issues, we're not going to inhale all the way back. You can do this if this feels good to you. And then as you inhale up again, you exhale the hands down to the floor. So with sore shoulders, we want to inhale up and exhale back down. Good. Inhale up and exhale, open wide. Inhale, palms come together. Exhale, release the palms back down to the earth. Again, inhale up. Option here to go behind or exhaling, opening the arms wide, opening through the heart. Inhale, palms come together. Exhale, release palms back down to the earth. Good. And let's begin to work on opening our hip flexors. So we're going to extend this left foot out. So you're going to feel a nice stretch all through the front of that hip flexor. And this is very simple, of course, with yin. So simple doesn't always mean it's easy. I'm going to extend that heel away and now release the foot. Just let that foot relax. So feeling that nice opening here through the hip flexor. Close the eyes. Stay here with your breath. Coming to that relative stillness. And knowing with this yin practice, we work at a 50 to 60% level of activity. We're not working with 110%. This is gentle and therapeutic. Good, 2 more breaths here, your nice natural inhales. Feeling the inhales, releasing through the exhales. Good, I'm going to slide that heel back towards the right foot. And this time I'm going to extend that right leg out, lower that heel down to the mat. So I keep this leg that's bent. I like to draw that heel fairly close to the block or the books that you're resting your sacrum on. And allow that foot to relax again. The right foot relaxes. Keeping integrity into that left foot. So feeling the big toe mound grounding down into the earth, and also feeling the heel, the whole heel resting on the earth. Option here to bring the hands into goalie post. So sometimes this feels fine, even if you have a little bit of shoulder issues. If you need, you can put something underneath the hands so the hands don't always have to come down to the earth. Five more breaths here. This is called Baby Dragon in a yin class. So a lot more gentle than doing full dragon. Good, and let's slowly draw that heel in. Place the feet down onto the mat. We're gonna lift up. So sometimes you feel a little bit achy and groany coming out of the pose. So lifting up, taking the block or the books away from the back. Just allow the back to settle down onto the earth. Maybe rotating like a little bit, just rocking into the shoulders, soften the belly. So a constructive rest pose. We allow the body to settle before we go into that next pose. So let's come into sleeping pigeon. You're going to take that right foot up towards the sky, draw that right heel on top of the left knee, and let's just slowly rock the right knee backwards and forwards. Just again, massaging and lubricating that right hip joint. From here, if you feel that this is enough for you, you can stay here. You can place blocks or books underneath the left heel if you wish to give yourself a little bit more height here. You can also place your foot against a wall if you have a wall close by, or clasping behind the left thigh and drawing that left thigh towards you and using this right elbow to press away the right knee away from you. So you're going to also feel this into the right glute. Maybe a slight pinching into the right hip flexor. And allow those feet to relax. So remember, we're coming to relax and hold this pose for a length of time. If your head is arching, see if you can draw that chin towards the heart slightly. And begin to breathe into the sleeping pigeon. And stay here for 5 breaths. Notice the peacefulness of your breath. We find when we breathe into these poses, we're truly nourishing our nervous system, allowing that nervous system to just rest here. Good. I'm going to lower this foot back down. Get these books out of the way. Again, do a little bit of a massage here onto that hip. Lower the feet down. Press up to release the lower back down. So I like to do this because it resets my sacrum. And now open the feet nice and wide, coming into reclined butterfly. So instead of drawing those heels towards the bottom, I'm pressing them away more into a diamond shape. So again, if you would like to bring more rest, you can bring pillows and a block or your books underneath so you can really relax down into this beautiful hip opener of reclined butterfly. In Hatha, we would call this Supta Baddha Konasana. You can even take your hands to your your ribs. And just feel yourself breathing. Just notice, saying to yourself, I feel my in-breath. And I feel my out-breath. As I breathe in, I allow my breath to help me relax. And as I exhale, I soften. Breathing in the ease of the pose. breathing out and softening. Taking the hands on either side of the hips, draw those knees together. We will come into sleeping pigeon on the other side. So this time we're going to bring that left heel up towards the sky and drop it down on top of the right knee. Again, begin to rock that knee back and forth, just allowing yourself to open up into that left hip, massaging the hip joint, and coming to this place where you feel the edge, so feeling that slight compression. Should be more like a dull ache, so not feeling any sharp pains or electric pains. Taking the hands, drawing them in between, clasping behind the thigh. So you can always use a block, or sorry, you could use your strap, and if you don't have a strap, robe tie works really good behind as a strap. So I keep this left foot active, maybe let this right foot be active for a moment. And then once I feel that deepest sensation, so I'm feeling this right into the left glute, and a pinching into that left hip flexor as well. Come to this peaceful place, allowing yourself to drop into the breath. Through the mouth, let's release that foot down, release that left foot down to the earth, lift up, replacing the lower back, so resetting the lower back. And let's do some windshield wipers, just one way, then the other. So we do a little bit of yin yoga before we come into meditation. Good. So roll over to your right or left side. I'm rolling to my left. Just allowing myself to settle here, just resting my arm, my head on my arm. Breathing into that whole side of your body. And we're going to meet in child's pose. So pressing through that hand, coming up to seated. I'm going to use a few of my couch pillows. So coming into a restful child's pose. Bringing the knees nice and wide as the mat, heels come to meet. And coming down onto the bolster, letting your right or left ear come to meet your bolster or your pillows. And just staying here, feeling this beautiful releasing pose. Breathing into the back side of the lungs. You can even wiggle those hips from side to side. before coming to that beautiful stillness. Notice which ear feels best for you in this position. More breaths here. As you're ready, place your hands down onto your mat, slowly lifting up. Seated. Again, just checking back in with the breath. So sitting up nice and tall. Your hands can remain on your knees or bring them to your heart center. Just noticing how the body feels after doing some yin poses, some yin shapes. You can check back in with your sankalpa, your intention. Maybe even bringing that into this self-care mudra, noticing how the body feels, how the energy feels. Can you connect with your energetic body? Can you come back to this place of this chakra, which is love, compassion, and kindness? Good. So let's come into hands and knees pose. Coming into hands and knees. We'll come into just a few cat-cows here. So stacking your wrists and elbows. And know that if you have really tight wrists, sometimes it helps just to turn the pinky fingers away and allow a little bend into your elbows. Or you can also roll your mat up or place something underneath your wrists. And your knees are stacked underneath your hips. Begin by arching the back, gazing towards the sky. And as you exhale, you will round, looking towards the heart. Inhale, gaze up. Exhale, rounding. Good. Working with your breath here. Good. 5 more breath cycles. Coming into puppy pose or melting heart pose, we walk our hands forward, our hips stay high, lowering down to elbows. Let the forehead come down to the mat. So you can move the elbows so you can feel a little bit more of support through the elbows. Widen the fingers and feel this lengthening through the spine. And it is more of a little mini back bend, so feeling the arching through the back. Again, if this is too much for you, please place your block or your bolster or pillows underneath your head. Three more breaths here. Lifting your head, walk those elbows in closer towards you. Keep those fingers nice and wide. We will now do some cat-cows from elbows. So here, you're going to feel a deeper arch through the back. And as you round, you can allow the head to drop, feeling more of a release into the cervical spine, so through the back of the neck here. Inhale, arching. Exhale, rounding. So feel how this feels in the body. So if it's too intense, just come back to hands and knees. Good. 4 more breath cycles here. In through the nose. Inhaling through the nose as you arch. Exhaling through the nose as you round. Good. Widen the knees here, nice and wide. Come down to your child's pose. Bring palms together. Lift those hands above the head. Twist into a nice releasing pose. You actually do get nicely into the triceps here. Releasing the hands down. Coming up to easy pose. So easy pose is resting on your knees. Again, if this is too hard on your knees, you can take the blocks or books and sit them underneath your sit bones. So just allowing yourself to rise up a little bit here. Let's take our hands, right one goes over top of left, giving yourself a nice hug, releasing through the shoulders. This is okay for you here, you can stay here, or you can come more into those eagle arm poses. So crooks of the elbows connect. Hands can either meet or can be wide, your choice here. Some people can clasp the hands and wrap them around. I'm going to keep mine a little bit wider here. Good, open the arms wide. This time, other arm on top. So this time I got left arm on top, right underneath, giving myself a nice hug. This is a beautiful stretch into the shoulders. Again, option to come into those eagle arms. Each side feels very different. It's completely normal. I'm going to stay here for 5 breaths. And knowing if this is too hard on your knees, just come into a seated pose. Again, keeping arms wide if you want, or hands wide. Good, releasing those arms, give them a shake. Maybe do a few arm swings here. So because this is a shorter practice, You can come to seated, or I invite you to come down to your Shavasana. So this is a Yin and Meditate class. I'm going to come into seated, so more of a seat of contemplation. So your option here. So if you're coming down to the ground, come into your Shavasana. You can place a pillow underneath your head, cover yourself with a blanket. You can also place a nice pillow underneath the legs when you're laying down. And just taking the time to close the eyes if you're seated, sitting upon something, a pillow, so your hips are a little bit higher than the knees. Close the eyes. Come back to your natural breath. Notice the areas that are upon your yoga mat, that rests upon this earth. Allow the body to soften, so starting at the crown of the head. Release the forehead. You can open the jaw, wiggle the jaw from side to side. And when you're closing the mouth, allow the teeth to not meet each other. And maybe allow the tongue to rest at the soft palate at the top of your mouth, just behind the teeth. Taking a deep swallow, relaxing the throat. And as you come down to where the heart is, notice as you inhale, the heart is resting within the body, and as you exhale, it just rests a little bit higher, maybe floating on your breath. It only takes a reminder to breathe, a moment to be still, and just like that, something in you settles. It softens and makes space for imperfection. The harsh voice of judgment drops to a whisper, and I remember again that life isn't a relay race, that we all cross the finish line, that waking up to life is what we were born to do. As many times as I forget, I catch myself charging forward without knowing where I'm going. That many times I can make the choice to stop, to breathe and be, and walk slowly into mystery. Walk slowly. Take this moment to be still. So knowing you can rest here as long as you wish. If you are ready to come out of Shavasana, making some small movements, wiggling the wrists, making some wrist movements. Even if you're seated, you can do this one way and then the other. Maybe just taking a nice stretch over to the side if you're seated. If you're laying down, just beginning to make those small movements. Wiggling the feet, the toes, drawing the feet in towards the chest and rolling to your right or left side. And come up if you're ready to meet me in seated. Bring your hands into your heart center. Drop the forehead towards the heart. Coming back, knowing that we can be kind to ourselves, to each other, to our community. Come back to this safe place of being seated in our yoga practice on our mats and practicing this trust of yoga. May each of you be well. May each of you be happy. And may each of you find peace. May each of you meet yourselves with loving kindness. With much gratitude from my heart to each of your hearts. Namaste. So thank you for joining me for Yin Meditation. This is a short class. I hope that you're able to get on your mat and come and practice yoga with me. I have many videos. You can check them out on my YouTube channel, which is Georgina Kylo. And also come back to my website for some live Wix videos, georginakailoyoga.com. I hope that if you have any questions, please reach out to me. You can email me, and I would love to hear from you. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.